Let's move to the next presentation. The next presentation is PulseCath, presented by Oren Malkin. So once again, Oren, you get 20 minutes. We suggest the first 20 minutes for the presentation and the following 10 minutes for the Q&A session. 2 minutes before the end of the slot, we will let you know that the time is almost up. And once again, for everyone on the line, if you would like to get in contact with with Oren, please send me a message in the chat and I will facilitate the contact exchange. You can share the screen, Oren, and whenever you're ready, you can start.
Yeah. Can you see the screen now? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
I can see it.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you and Yeri to invite me to this conference and meeting. It's a great honor. My name is Oren Malkin, and I'm a vice president of a company named PulseCath. And PulseCath is a Dutch company that focuses on developing and manufacturing and, of course, marketing a short-term mechanical assist device. We call our product ISO2L. In this presentation, we will go a little bit about who is the company, what's standing behind it, and we talk about the product and the clinical effect. And at the end, if you have any question, I would be more than happy to answer it.
Oren, just a question. Could you go a bit closer to the mic so we can hear you better?
Yeah, there is a system here, so I will start to speak louder. Is it better? Good. Sorry. So we are not a very young company, but we are not old enough. The company was founded in 2008 by Dr. Yoram Carmon. He's currently still with us, the CEO of the company, and he founded the company. The company started in the Groningen University Medical Center in the north of Holland, and we started as an incubator company inside the university, and then after some time we went out. I myself joined the company about 11 years ago. Also, Bob Prince is our CFO, and Dr. Willem van Lavik is our chairman of the board. We all started the company, and we are all still running and managing the company. So what is our goal? What is our mission? Is to provide a circulatory support system to cardiologists and cardiac surgeons. There is a wide range of patients that need circulatory support during the process, post surgery. And for that, we developed a very, very nice percutaneous system. It was a long process. It's not happening in 1 or 2 years. But we invested a lot of time and effort to develop the product that we are now running. The infrastructure of the company. Our headquarters is located in Arnhem, in the east of the Netherlands. We have a marketing logistics office in Brokelen. This is where I'm staying now and transmit this video to you. We have in our marketing team, we have a clinical team, and we have a sales support team. The R&D and the manufacturing is located in two locations. One of them is in Rotterdam. It's our facility for R&D and manufacturing the metal parts, and in Aachen, Germany, we are doing the plastic and the catheters. We of course have a QA department. We have 4 people there, and we are now filing for the MDR, so we are fully prepared for the new regulation of the European community. Of course, we have a legal department and a finance department as well. A little bit about the part that important to our partners. So there is a team that we have to support our partners, our doctors, and the clinical. We have as a clinical manager, we have Dr. Marcelo Bastos. He's on board. On the clinical support, we have 3 people in Europe. We have Uwe from Germany, Badir from Turkey, that support the Middle East. And we have Maya from Slovenia that support also Eastern Europe countries as well. Our medical proctor, we have Dr. Hughes Damen, is from Rotterdam Erasmus Medical Center, and Dr. Alexander Samol, and he's from Minden, Germany University. In our office, we have a logistics and customer support team that runs by Marlene van Maglik, and she is in charge for all the communication and all the marketing support and marketing material that goes to our partners. We are very proud with our scientific advisory board. We have 4 very upscale key opinion leader that managed by Professor Nicolas van Megen from Rotterdam. He is the chief of the clinical advisory board. We have Professor Larusso from Maastricht. He is a cardiac surgeon. Also support us regarding all the combination with ECMO, and we will talk about it later on. Professor Marcus Beamer, he is from Minden University, and Simon Redwood from St. Thomas Hospital in London. All of them are helping us with the next generation of the product, and of course with the clinical study that we are running all together. So what is we are doing? The IVAC 12, this is our product. This is the 3rd generation already. We had the IVAC 3L that we started 10 years ago, but we moved into a full percutaneous system. It's a pulsatile percutaneous circulatory assist device and provide a short-term solution to support complex high-risk PCI, and also unloading LV during ECMO support, and also with COVID patients that we have recently found that is very helpful for them. The device itself is very, very simple. It's a catheter base. It's a 17 French catheter, and it's a pulsatile and synchronized with the left ventricle. So it's not, I don't know if you're familiar, but there is one competitor to this kind of devices, and it's called Impella. It's Abiomed. It's a tiny company in the US. It's a $9 billion company. And we are the only alternative that's available at the moment in Europe for this kind of devices. The device itself is unloading the left ventricle and overtake the myocardial workload. And this is very, very important, because when you have this kind of a sick heart, you want to relieve the heart in order to continue with the procedures that you are doing, percutaneous coronary intervention, or if you have a patient with a very dilated ventricle and you want to unload the ventricle, this is the right tool to do. The catheter itself is connected outside, and you can see on the video here. You can see the membrane pump, and this is a 40 cc membrane pump that's driven by a standard intra-aortic balloon driver. And the idea is that we are using a system that already exists in the hospital, so you don't, or the hospital doesn't need to buy a new device, a new console in order to operate. They already have the system in-house, and this is what activates our system. This is the valve, and this is the heart of the product. The valve is located about 6 centimeters from the tip, and I will explain how it works together with the heart. And the idea is that this is a kind of a flip-flop valve that changes its position according to the flow inside the catheter. So if we move the blood from right to the left, you can see that the valve is closed, and then the blood goes all the way to the membrane. And then when we push the blood back, instead of going to the tip, it's ejecting in this specific position, as you can see over here. And the idea is that we're using this technique of pumping with a membrane pump and this changing valve in order to reposition the blood from the heart to the ascending aorta. And the idea is that you don't see the cursor, but the tip is inside the left ventricle, while our valve located in the ascending aorta. And when when the pump is deflated, or we push the membrane inside, or we pull it, then we create a vacuum inside the catheter. This vacuum is emptying the ventricle and taking the remaining blood of the that left inside the ventricle, and then when we push the membrane, then we eject it into the ascending aorta. And this is working together with the heart, meaning that when the heart is doing systole, when the heart is contract, then we take the remaining blood because it's a sick heart. Therefore, there are a lot of blood remain that the heart cannot eject. So we take the remaining blood and then we add it during the diastole into the circulatory system. And then the outcome is that there is an increase of cardiac output because we are adding more volume during diastole. When you add volume to the system, you actually create an augmentation of diastolic pressure. And this is very important because the myocardial gets its oxygen and perfusion during the diastolic phase. And if you increase volume and you increase pressure, then the perfusion of oxygen to the myocardial tissue is becoming more efficient and better, and then the performance of the heart is improving as well. This is how it looks like when it's inside the heart. You can see very nicely the valve is open and closed, and you can also see that this is a very, very severe case of high-risk PCI, percutaneous coronary intervention. So you see that it's very stable in the left ventricle, and it's working very nicely. So what does the IVAC actually do from clinical aspect? So as I said, because it's synchronized, it's driven by ECG, the helium from the intra-aortic balloon driver is pulling and pushing the membrane that we saw previously. By doing that, we create additional volume and additional pressure. So we are doing a cardiac support. So we are focusing on the myocardial to support the myocardial, and we also support the total system. So during systole, when the heart is contract, we are focusing on cardiac support. We are reducing LV volume by unloading the ventricle, and we are reducing the afterload pressure. When at the end of the diastolic, we are dropping, or we are stopped pumping, delivering the blood to the aorta. By doing that, there is a drop of afterload pressure. That means that the myocardial workload is going down because the pressure inside the ventricle should be lower than if you have higher pressure in the aorta. I hope I'm not giving you too much details on that, but reducing afterload is reduced myocardial energy consumption, and this is very, very important. During the diastolic phase, we are more focusing on circulatory support. We are increasing cardiac output by 2 liters per minute, and we are increasing diastolic pressure by 50%. And this is very, very important because the body, in order to stay alive, let's say, he needs a minimum pressure and a minimum volume in order to continue to function and not to fall apart. So what are the indications that we are aiming or when you can use the IVAC2L? This is a very complicated question. It's not easy to answer because this is from one hand, it's an aggressive treatment, and from other hand, if you don't use an aggressive approach, you may lose the patient. So this is a graph that shows the duration of patients when they are coming from pre-shock to severe shock, and when you use each one of the available methods. So first of all, you always start with anatropic drugs, anatropic medication, and if it's not work, you are using intra-aortic balloon pump. If the intra-aortic balloon is not enough, then you go for the IVAC2L. And if the patient is way or almost dead, then you should use ECMO because the IVAC is limited with ability to support very, very sick heart. Just to highlight this point, this is an additional support, meaning that we need to have something coming from the heart in order to keep the patient alive. So if there is no cardiac output at all, then you need to go to ECMO. So IVAC is not enough, by the way, also in PELA. And if we talk about—
Sorry to interrupt you, you have 7 minutes left. 7,
okay. 3 more slides, I think. So the IVAC is the only alternative to Impella. Impella is from clinical effect. We already proved the clinical studies that we have some parameters are a little bit better than Impella, but in general we can say that we are very compatible and comparable with the Impella clinical effect. We have the same indication. We use the complicity. We are much easier to use. We are very simple device, very straightforward. The learning curve is very short, and of course, one of the major issues is that we are much more competitive regarding the price, and in some countries we are even half price of the Impella. Of course, you don't need to buy a special console. With Impella, the hospital need to buy a special console to activate. During the last couple of years, 5 years, we published more than 16 publications. All of them were very, very positive. You can see here the list. We are not going to go over, but the results showing a very, very good and safe results with using the IVAC 2L. At the moment, we have a network of 44 countries, some of them under registration. We cover most of Europe at the moment. We are now registering in Mexico, and we have Russia, India, and we are working also to get an approval in Australia. We are selling our products since 2018. Before that, we were focused on getting clinical data and good clinical evidence to do it. This is a short video. We have exactly 2 minutes to show you. This is a clinical case of using the device. By the way, this one was taken in Serbia. This is a high-risk PCI. This is how they prepare the penetration point, and with the wire they cross the aortic valve and place the wire inside the left ventricle. This is the preparation of the device. Very simple. You just flush it. This is the membrane pump that I mentioned before. We need to take the air out, so we purge heparinized saline into the membrane over the wire. Very easy, just to push it and deliver it all the way from the femoral artery. By the way, you can do then after we position it, we connect the membrane pump by clamping and preventing the blood come out from the catheter, like you see here. And then do a wet connection. So we connect the membrane pump directly to the catheter. We take the clamp out, as you can see here. And connect the intra-aortic balloon driver, and again, you can see here how the membrane is working. The blood is actually deep inside the aorta. So to thank you for listening, and now we have a couple of more seconds to questions.
Yeah, I believe we still have around 5 minutes for okay. Questions and answers.
Okay.
All right, thank you for sharing your product, and give us one of these ahas. What differentiates you compared to Impella? It's a huge market, so what should give us a comfort that you're gonna break through?
The thing is that we are more focusing from the clinical aspect. The recent clinical study shows that we have an advantage regarding relieving the myocardial and reducing the oxygen consumption of the myocardial. So this is one thing. There is another thing of hemolysis. It's a destruction of red blood cells. The Impella create high level of hemolysis, while the IVAC is actually create no hemolysis at all, or almost no hemolysis. The third is simplicity. The learning curve, after one or two cases, the doctors can do themselves the case without any support. With Impella, it's more complicated. Our team, with our device, the clinical team does not need to learn a new console. So the IABP console is well known. So it's very easy for them to activate it, also in the ICU, by the way. And of course, the price. The price is always a big issue, and we are very, very competitive with the price. And we are nicer people.
Of course, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Can you hear me? Okay, because I have this. Yeah, so, hey, Martin, how are you?
Hello, Oren. Nice to meet you. I'm doing well. What about you?
Great, great. So we are now preparing a file for the FDA. We took a company that is going to go with us to the US market, and we decided to go with the 510K de novo procedure. It will take 2 years. We also now working on a new device. It's going to be a shiftless device. That means that we are going to reduce the punch or the puncture size dramatically by 4 French. So it will be comparable with 15 French sheath. We already did a couple of animals. The results are very, very good. And hopefully we will get the CE mark for the additional approach. So you can choose between shift and shiftless approach in Q2 2021. So we are about 6 months ahead. Yeah, and hopefully we will be very, very competitive with Impella, because this is the only downside of the product at the moment, the size of the puncture. But in 6 months, we are going to overtake this challenge as well. Nothing? Either everything was clear or nothing was clear. So
Overwhelming, as you know.
yeah, it was very, normally I do this kind of presentation in 2 hours, but you got it in 17, so it's really short.
I already, this Danny from Malaysia.
Yeah.
Thank you for interesting presentation. I saw your slide that currently your company does not have any presence in Asia. So I'm not sure what would be the strategic plan for the company in this part of the world.
In Malaysia, we don't have. We have in Hong Kong, in Thailand, in Taiwan, in India, and in Singapore. We have one partner that covers this territory. Actually, 2. But in Malaysia, we don't have a representative at the moment. And we always happy to look into new opportunities and new partners.
Okay. So I touch base with you separately then, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. That will be great. I will be very happy to discuss this opportunity with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I would like to thank you very much for this opportunity. For me, it was a great pleasure, and I wish you all keep safe and you know, enjoy for the rest of the conference in the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Oren.
Thanks,
Presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So everyone, once
Thank
again,
you.
if you would like to get in touch with Oren, just let me know down in the chat, and I'll facilitate the contact.